March 3rd, Doug Collins, the newly appointed Secretary of Veterans Affairs, addressed recent concerns regarding reports that the VA would be reducing its workforce by more than 70,000 employees. In a statement released through the VA's official YouTube channel, he responded to these claims, shedding light on the department's stance and future direction. I'd like to take some time to review each claim that he made during the video.
Hey everybody, it's Doug. I've always promised you I was going to shoot straight with you, and you're going to always hear it from me. Well, I got a bit longer message for you today, so just bear with me because you'll want to hear what I'm going to say. The VA has been a punching bag among veterans, Congress, and the media for decades. Things need to change. We owe America's veterans and the hundreds and thousands of excellent VA employees solutions. For many years, veterans have been asking for a more efficient, accountable, and transparent VA. This administration is finally going to give the veterans what they want. President Trump has a mandate for generational change in Washington, and that's exactly what we're going to deliver at the VA.
As of 2025, the VA has more than 470,000 employees. The Veterans Health Administration, a subdepartment of the VA, employs 300,000 medical professionals. Less than 7% of the VA is in a managerial position, and more than 25% of all VA employees are veterans. In 2024, the VA had a budget of over $307 billion. The VA is the fifth largest spender of all federal agencies. The VA funds compensation, healthcare, education, housing, and much more for eligible veterans. There are currently 9 million veterans enrolled in VA healthcare. In March of 2024, the PACT Act made almost all 16 million U.S. veterans eligible for VA healthcare. In 2024, more than 400,000 veterans applied for VA healthcare. The VA supplies healthcare benefits, burial services, education, and housing assistance to eligible veterans.
We're going to make the department work better for the veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors we are charged with serving. And here's how we're going to do it. In response to President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency and Workforce Optimization Initiative, VA is conducting a department-wide review of its organization, operations, and structure. Central to these efforts is a pragmatic and disciplined approach to eliminating waste and bureaucracy, increasing efficiency, and improving health care, benefits, and services to veterans.
A quick breakdown of the VA's organizational structure. The Department of Veterans Affairs is structured into three administrations: the Veterans Health Administration, the Veterans Benefits Administration, and the National Cemetery Administration. Veterans Health Administration provides health care services to eligible veterans. Veterans Benefits Administration manages benefits for veterans, including rehabilitation, counseling, and job placement. The National Cemetery Administration manages the VA's cemeteries.
This will be a thorough and thoughtful review based on input from career VA employees, senior executives, as well as the top VA leaders. Our goal is to reduce VA employment levels to 2019 in-strength numbers, roughly 398,000 employees, from our current level of approximately 470,000 employees. Now that's a 15% decrease.
In 2019, approximately 9 million veterans were enrolled in VA healthcare. Prior to 2022, VA healthcare eligibility was limited. The PACT Act included veterans that were previously ineligible. In March of 2024, the PACT Act made virtually every veteran eligible for VA healthcare.
We're going to accomplish this without making cuts to healthcare or benefits to veterans and VA beneficiaries. VA will always fulfill its duty to provide veterans, families, caregivers, and survivors the health care and benefits they have earned. That's a promise.
That's a promise.
And while we conduct our review, VA will continue to hire for more than 300,000 mission-critical positions to ensure health care and benefits for VA beneficiaries are not impacted. There are many people complaining about the changes we're making at the VA. But what most of them are really saying is, let's just keep doing the same thing at the VA has always done. No, not going to happen. The days of kicking the can down the road and measuring VA's progress by how much money it spends and how many people it employs rather than how many veterans it helps are over. Here's just one example. We're conducting a comprehensive review of the VA's 90,000 contracts, which are worth more than $67 billion. After reviewing roughly 2% of those contracts, we were able to cancel nearly 600 non-mission critical or duplicative agreements that will save the department roughly $900 million.
Based on the math, 2% of the 90,000 contracts would be 1,800 contracts. If they cut 600 contracts, that equates to about 0.66% of all contracts. If you take it for face value, the $900 million would mean that each contract was worth about $1.5 million. If the VA stays on that pace, they would say they cut $45 billion.
At the VA, we are focused on serving veterans better than ever before, and doing so requires changing and improving the organization. Look, the VA was never perfect, and it will never be perfect, but we can and will make it better. When we find problems, we will fix them. We will communicate what we are doing to the public. That's what I'm doing right now. But we'll be making major changes, so get used to it. Right now, VA's biggest problem is that its bureaucracy and inefficiencies are getting in the way of customer convenience and service to veterans. As I have said before, we owe American veterans and hundreds of thousands of amazing employees solutions. And mark my words, that is what we will deliver.